Hi, Talita. Happy Thursday. I wanted to start out by saying a warm congratulations to Toledo Elementary's Student of the Year, Hayden Salas. I absolutely agree with this fantastic honor for Hayden. She is a wonderful child, I know because I'm a mom, but she's also a great student. She spent a lot of her recesses helping to put new barcode labels on the back of library books and stamp books that are obsolete. So she took her free time that could have been out playing with her friends at recess and came into the library to help me. So I very much appreciate that. In honor of Hayden, I asked her what are some of your favorite books. And she loves Raina Telgemeier, the Smile series, Sisters. She loves Big Nate, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. She likes factual books, learning about the Titanic. She loves learning about Greek mythology. 13-Story Treehouse, Paul Griffiths, that series is a good series, and Snoopy. So I'm going to tell you guys as parents, comic books are really great books for kids to read. The indispensable Calvin and Hobbes by Bill Watterson. Comics allow for kids to make inferences. So sure, this comic strip just has mainly pictures, which with a great final ending. The pterodon spreads his giant wings, and it's amazing for kids to make those inferences. And the words, actually, they have some high vocabulary words. And I know sometimes comic books can have a little inappropriate things. We don't have too many in our Toledo library, but you can choose at home what is best for your fit as a family. And I was looking through my books here at home because I haven't gotten into the library just yet. And to honor Hayden, I happen to have a Charlie Brown book. Happiness is a Warm Blanket, Charlie Brown. And we all have different things that make us happy. By Charles M. Schultz. Linus loved his blanket. It made him feel safe and secure. It soaked up all of his fears and frustrations. Linus didn't like to be away from his blanket ever, not even when his sister Lucy decided it was time to clean it. "Wash day!" Lucy would shout. "It's in the rinse cycle," she'd say as Linus began to sweat. And finally, "It's in the spin cycle." At last, Linus would get his blanket back. But lately, Linus's friends had begun teasing him about his blanket. They thought it was silly and got in the way. "You and that stupid blanket," Schroeder yelled. "I can't stand it," said Charlie Brown. Even Sally, who loved everything about Linus, had something to say about his blanket. "You're my sweet baboo," she told Linus. "But I could like you even more if you'd give up that blanket." Only Charlie Brown's dog Snoopy understood how great Linus's blanket really was, and he wanted it for himself. Linus had an even bigger problem than teasing or a jealous dog. His grandmother was coming to visit. Grandma didn't like Linus's blanket one bit. Lucy began to pester Linus more than ever. "If you don't give up that stupid blanket, Grandma's gonna cut it into 1,000 pieces." Linus had to find a way to give up his blanket before Grandma came. But how? Linus tried a substitute, but that had drawbacks. Lucy locked the blanket in a closet, but Linus couldn't stay away. "You better give it back," Charlie Brown told Lucy. "What makes you say that, Charlie Brown?" Lucy asked. "Oh, he's desperate." Grandma's visit was just a few days away and nothing seemed to work. Linus was not going to give up his blanket, but someone else had other plans. Snoopy! Linus chased Snoopy everywhere, but Snoopy made a daring escape. Seeing Linus's blanket fly through the air gave Lucy an idea. Lucy made a kite out of Linus's blanket to keep it away from him. But Linus wasn't fooled. "My blanket!" Linus yelled. Things only got worse for Linus when Lucy let go of the kite. Linus watched his beloved blanket float off into the air. Linus's blanket was really gone this time. Staring up at the great big sky, he felt sadder than he ever had. I bet I'll never see my blanket again. Still, Linus had to try to get his blanket back. He asked Charlie Brown to help him put an ad in the paper. "Lost. One light blue blanket in the shape of a kite. Please return. Owner desperate." Even though his good friend Charlie Brown stayed by his side, Linus could barely sleep without his blanket. He kept thinking about it, wondering where it could be. Soon, Linus got some good news. It was a telegram from the Air Rescue Service. "They found my blanket," he told Charlie Brown. "They are mailing it back to me." Linus was thrilled to get his blanket back, but his happiness did not last long. Grandma was arriving that day, and Lucy had come up with a surefire way of curing Linus of his blanket habit once and for all. "I buried it," she said. Linus dug and dug and dug, but he could not find his blanket. Just when things seemed hopeless, Linus's blanket seemed to find him. It was time for Linus to face Grandma. She was not happy that Linus still had his blanket, but Linus stood his ground. "I need this blanket," he told Grandma. "It's the only real security I have." After all, everyone had someone or something that helped them get through the day. It wasn't just Linus with his blanket. Sally had her sweet baboo Linus. Schroeder had his piano. Lucy had Schroeder. Snoopy had his dinner bowl. Even Grandma had her coffee. Linus made a good argument for keeping his blanket, but Grandma would not listen. "Hand it over?" Linus asked. "You want me to hand it over?" Sure enough, Grandma took Linus's blanket away. But Grandma didn't really get Linus's blanket. He had wrapped it with a dish towel. He had swapped it with a dish towel and tricked her. After Grandma had gone, Linus got out his real blanket. Charlie Brown was happy for Linus. Everything was back to normal and Linus's blanket was safe. Still, Linus was a little sad to see Grandma go. "I'm gonna miss the thrill of the chase," he told Charlie Brown. Lucky for Linus, someone would always want his blanket. And that is the story of Happiness is a Warm Blanket, Charlie Brown. We all have a blanket that keeps us feeling safe and secure, and our kids do too. So I hope all of you parents are able to find your blanket to keep you safe and secure, and that we are allowing our children to have their tiny little needs of security as well. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. It's Friday.